a good idea to bring this in. Bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-da-da-da-da bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum ba-dum ba-ba-dum da-dun 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 da-da-dum ba-da-dun da-dun 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 bum ba-da-dum ba-da-dun da-dun 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 da-da-dum ba-da-dun da-dun 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 da-dun. Hello, my friends. Welcome. Can you hear me? Just want to make sure that you can hear me. You know, we can never count on these things so much. So let's see if we can make certain that I am being heard. Hi, from Wisconsin, Lake Superior. And I saw someone from Australia and Dolly from PA. We had 6 feet of snow over 2 storms. Hi from Kansas, Missouri. Hi. Yes. You can hear me and I can see you. Love it. Great to see everyone. It's wonderful to see you all. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joette Calabrese, and every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, I am here to do one thing and one thing only, and that is talk about homeopathy. Teach you as much as I can do in half an hour, as much as I can in 30 minutes, and then you're off on your own for the week. Yeah, I love this cable knit sweater too. My mother-in-law made this for me. She died several years ago, and I still have it to remind myself of her. Yes, she made this. It's an amazing feat. She always made these incredible sweaters. She was from Scotland, and that's what women from Scotland do. So, for those of you who do know me, hi, Irene in Buffalo. My name is, for those of you who do know me, you know me, I know you. Great to see you all. Wonderful to see all my friends on Facebook and in my Mighties group. I got a fun thing to do in Mighties that I'm going to pass on to you in the next week or so, I think. Just some fun stuff that I want to share with my Mighties. I'm a little more, shall I say, candid with my Mighties because it's not out to the world at large. I try to give you as much as I can on these nights Facebook, but some things I'm not comfortable passing along. Kimberly, hi Kimberly, she's in Buffalo too, and yeah, it is cold. It's brisk. I would call it brisk in Buffalo. That's true. So, shall we get started? Because last week we had a kind of a bad start with Facebook and things were just not moving along the way they ought to. So we're talking about pain, and we're going to be talking about pain for some time. Why? Because it's such a vast subject. I'm so excited, says Karen. I introduced an MD to Joette's site, and now she will take Gateway with me. She's fed up with the medical system. There are a lot of good doctors out there, my friends. You just have to dig for them, but they do exist. And it seems as though in the last couple of years, they're kind of catching on to some of the things that some of us have known for a long time, and some are just learning about. But the jig is up, right? I would say that. I think things are coming out. Hopefully fast enough. We need to keep on our friends and our families and keep them up to snuff on the interesting stuff. And as I've said before, there are some people I like very much. Robert Kennedy Jr. Wonderful. Chef's kiss. Del Bigtree. Excellent. Joseph Mercola. I could keep going. There are a lot of good people out there. Brett Bryanstein, is it Brett Bryanstein? Brett? What's Brett's last name, friends? I know that many of you probably watch him. Bernstein? I don't know if it's Bernstein. Brett. Anyway, he has a great podcast, a lot of great podcasters out there. So anyway, let's talk about pain.
First, I want to start with something important, and that is that you know that pain is not something necessarily worthy of eliminating. Now, I don't mean that we want someone to suffer. Instead, what we want to do is note that pain, the character of the pain, the organ that it is affecting, or the area that it's affecting, and use that information to determine which is the best medicine. In other words, we don't just numb the pain and get rid of it and let's just get rid of this, right? We do this. We are looking at the pain, we're paying attention to it, and then we're using it to determine which medicine to use. So we're using two aspects of it: the symptoms and how they're presenting. Is it pain over the left eye when the barometric pressure change comes through? Is it pain that feels like an ice pick is being stabbed into the eye? Is it pain that's menstrual cramps that feels like the whole pelvic area is inflamed? Is it pain that's throbbing? Is it pain that causes vomiting? Is it et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Now, just last week or so, I think it was a little over a week ago, I had tremendous pains, just out of the blue, stomach cramps, literally in the stomach. It was rather high. I don't get that kind of stuff. I have a gastrointestinal system that's pretty iron, like iron. I can eat just about anything, as long as it's real. I eat hot sauce, a lot of it. I have cayenne pepper every single day in my coffee and in many other foods. Love hot, love spicy, love fats, animal fats. I love butter, eat a lot of it. I use lard for most of my cooking, or tallow, or chicken fat, duck fat. I love those. I don't have any problems with. But one night, I think it was about 2 nights before, around Christmas, sometime around Christmas, I had tremendous stomach cramps, and at the same time, I had nausea and then vomiting. And it was very it was intense, and it didn't come on quickly. It was slowly. It built cramps, cramps, cramps. Then they would back off. Cramps, 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 and they would back off. So I want to show you something that I think will be valuable to you. I'm going to hold up my repertory. I did not author this repertory. This is authored by Robin Murphy, a colleague and friend who passed away just a few months ago. And this is it. It's called the Meta Repertory. This is the 4th edition by Robin Murphy, ND. I want you to see how thick this is. Now, I've got my finger placed here because I want to show you this section on pain. So I'm looking in the clinical or generals, and I want to show you how homeopathy looks at pain, which is much different. Let me see if I can get this up here. You see pain here? See, that's all pain there. And it goes into the next page, the next section. Oops, sorry. And it goes over this way too, and onto the next page. And these entries into this rubric of pain is not showing you, is not written in sentences. For those of you who don't know anything about a repertory, it's simply names of medicines, names of homeopathic medicines, one after another after another. And it highlights, that's the way a repertory is laid out, it highlights those medicines that are the most often used, or the most efficacious, have the greatest history, have the most clinical data behind them, have been proven to be the most valuable, and then in second order, and then third order, and then it goes even further than that sometimes. So when I look at that, some of the medicines that are the most important, I'll hold this up again, see if I can put my finger on it, because I'm looking at it in an opposite fashion. Right there, I hope you can see this, is, Arsenicum, right there. Now, there are other medicines up there too, but Arsenicum is a very important one. Now, when I look at that, and I look at pains, agaricus, arnica, arsenicum, belladonna, these are all important medicines related to pain. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I was so distressed because of the vomiting and the pain that I lost my ability to think. So, and I want you to know that you need to know this. You need to know that when you're suffering, you personally, or even someone that you're close to is suffering, emotionally, intellectually, as I say, the brain turns to mush. So I contacted a friend. I was at a loss. I thought about Arsenicum, but I was thinking more Ipecac because it was nausea. But the pain was pretty severe. And Ipecac it's not quite the same. I took a couple of remedies. Actually, I don't even remember what I used now that I think of it. Nux vomica. I thought maybe it could have been food poisoning. I didn't know what it was. I had had no clients or students contact me to tell me that they were having this problem. Oftentimes it gives me information when I know that my clients and students that I'm hearing about it day in and day out, that something's going around. Now, when I look back at it, I do believe there was a stomach flu or something going around. I've heard a lot of people complain of this. And I ended up choosing, or no, excuse me, my friend / colleague ended up choosing Arsenicum for me. She gave me a choice. There are these 4. Colosynthus maybe was another one. I can't remember the others. But when she said it's one of these 4, I knew instantly that it was Arsenicum. Absolutely. Now, Arsenicum has, if it was food poisoning, it would have been perfect. It turned out, I don't think it was food poisoning after all. But it doesn't matter. It was an excellent medicine. Now, the pain was in the stomach. I did not have burning. Arsenicum often has burning pain. Didn't have that. Just had severe cramping pain. And vomiting. Now, why else did I choose or how did I choose Arsenicum, or how did she choose it? She chose it because of the pain, because it was gastrointestinal, because there was vomiting. But the reason she chose Arsenicum 3, which, my friends, I want you to own that medicine. It's great to have it in a 30, great to have it in a 200. But specifically when it's stomach, it can be even more valuable in a 3. And this is how I want you to remember this. When you look at the number 3 and you draw it, it looks like a profile of a breast and a belly. Now, the breast has nothing to do with it, but the belly certainly does. So that 3 is going to help you remember that it is particularly valuable because of that rounded belly in the profile of the number, is going to help you remember that Arsenicum 3 is for pain in the belly, in the stomach. Now, does it have to be the stomach? Can it be the colon? Yes. Can it be a little higher up, more like it's slightly indigestion? It could be. But it really is a very specific stomach pain. And so I took 1 dose. I had been vomiting and in severe pain. The vomiting and pain would come simultaneously for about 4 hours when I finally decided to contact my friend. And because I was at a loss. I couldn't even think. I couldn't hold a book open, think. Wasn't going to happen. So I took it, and I would say that it took about 7 minutes, 10 minutes maybe. And not only did the pain and the vomiting cease, but I fell asleep. And that was it. My husband left me on the sofa. He said, you can come upstairs if you want, but it looks like you're really comfortable. Why don't you lay here instead of moving? And I was obliged. And so I stayed right there. He covered me up. I slept on the sofa, slept all night long. About 4 a.m, I got up, went back upstairs, and went to bed. And that was it. And it was done. Now, I don't want you to think, my friends, that this is always the way homeopathy works. But in an acute situation, when it's really severe and it's obviously not a chronic condition, it can work this quickly. It can work with just 1 dose. So I want you to remember Arsenicum, not only because in the repertory it's emboldened, it's a bold, capital ARS, but it also is underlined. We could go through a lot of these. But I want to go through that one in particular, particularly because if there is indeed a stomach flu or stomach bug that's going around still, it may very well be Arsenicum 3. Now, if it had not acted, I might have taken, if I didn't feel better in a few minutes, I might have repeated it in about 15 minutes from the first dose. And then again, yeah, Perry is such a cool guy. Thanks, Harry. Yes, he is. So it's Arsenicum 3, not 6. And now let me just tell you this. Why not Arsenicum 6? Well, if you only had Arsenicum 6, then you use it. If you only had Arsenicum 30, you use it. But Arsenicum 3 is so specific to the gut. But 6, now look at the number 6. And to me, the profile of 6 looks like a nose. So Arsenicum 6 is often used for the nose. Sneezing, lots and lots and lots. I'm not talking about occasional. I'm talking about somebody who's sneezing and sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. So there's a lot. I'm not going to go into that too much because it's not related to pain. It's just related to the nose. So I want you to think about it in that term, that 3 is specific for the stomach pain, 6 is more specific for the nose. Okay, now let's look at another medicine that I think is super, super important for you to remember, especially if you're a mother of a younger child or even a teenager. One of my favorite medicines, Chamomilla. Now I'm going to show it to you here. Here it is under pain. It's one of the, I've got my index finger on it. Let's see if you can see that. Chamomilla. Okay. Capitalized and bold and underlined. Great medicine. Great medicine for someone who is not, it's not just pain, it's oversensitivity to pain. Oh, I think I was pointing out coffee. Chamomilla is above it. Coffee is another good medicine for pain, obviously. So, chamomilla, just like the chamomile flower, just like chamomile tea, chamomilla, excellent medicine for pain that is, in which the person is remarkably sensitive to pain. Here's a good example. The child is sitting in his high chair, and his sister walks by and just touches his back. And he goes, why'd you touch me? That hurts so much. Well, she didn't hurt him. She didn't pinch him. She only touched him. But they're so sensitive that even a touch can be maddening, even though it's not pain in their back. This child is at that age when they're in a high chair and they're complaining of pain. It's likely, my friends, that it's pain related to either teething or an ear infection. So I want you to remember they're fractious, they're irritable, they're oversensitive. The pain is beyond comprehension. They're so sensitive to it. And in this medicine, I most often use it in a 200C. Now, let me tell you a story about a client I had years ago when I had a brick and mortar practice, and the mom and the child came into my office. I had a teeny tiny office. We were all crammed into this little space. And the daughter was having tremendous menstrual cramps. And when they sat down, the daughter and mother sat next to each other, but the daughter turned away from the mother and faced in the other direction. She couldn't even look at her mother. She was so irritable. It took every ounce of me not to say something as to how she was treating her mother. And part of me as a mother myself, I want to say something. On the other hand, I'm a homeopath and I want to get the right medicine. And the way that I'm going to get I wanted this teenager to comply and take it, because a lot of times teenagers won't even take the medicine if they're so irritable, or if they think that the homeopath is against them on any level, if there's any consternation. So I kept quiet. And it was clear that this young girl, she was about 13, was very irritable. And when she left the room, the mother said, "This is the way it is always." I knew that had to be. These little vignettes of how people act in my office are generally a good indication of what's really going on a regular basis. And and her menstrual cramps were over the top, super sensitive, crying, yelling, do something. So they can be very, very demanding. So now we have another opportunity to use Chamomilla 200, and that would be then ear infection pain, teething pain, menstrual cramps. But we're looking for, if we can, that component that makes it a Chamomilla choice. The component being irritable, overly sensitive to pain, fractious, nothing makes them happy. The child is crying. They say, "Oh, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up." You pick up the child. "No, that's not it." And then they arch their back and they want to be put back down again. Very irritable, demanding person. All right, let's find another reason to use chamomilla. Teething. When I say teething, most people, of course, are thinking that I'm talking about a 2-year-old, 3-year-old. But I'm not talking about just that. It can be for a teenager, 19 years old, or a 28-year-old who's getting their wisdom teeth in. They are erupting and they're painful. The eruption is painful. Now, the first thing that age group will do is go to the dentist. And what does the dentist say? "Let's get it out. You don't need those teeth. You don't need the wisdom teeth." And what do we say? Garbage. We need our wisdom teeth. We want our wisdom teeth. And just because there's pain associated with them doesn't mean we cut them out. Right? If your finger hurts, do we cut it off? If your ear hurts, do we cut it out? No, we do not do that. So it can be very useful for someone in their 20s who's getting pain coming in from their teeth that are erupting, and chamomilla can bring it right down. And I also find that chamomilla at that time also is going to be useful for someone who's irritable, just like their 3-year-old counterpart was irritable with pain from teething. So we're thinking, "Oh my gosh, when is this child or this 28-year-old going to grow up? They're still fractious, still happening, they're irritable all the time." Or the 19-year-old. For crying out loud, grow up. It's time to get on with life and stop being so demanding and so needy. So, what if wisdom teeth are coming in crooked or impacted? Well, have they caused trouble yet? Other than the pain, have they caused trouble? Just because your teeth are crooked, does it mean that they should be extracted? Why don't you give them a chance to come out? Sometimes they come out crooked, or they present crooked, and then as they finish coming out, they come in straight, or they stay crooked and it doesn't cause any trouble. Interesting. Safe wisdom teeth removal from a biological dentist, Dr. Nunnally. Yeah, I know about him. I've heard I've had a couple of clients tell me that he's a good dentist in Texas. Yes, there are times when wisdom teeth do need to be extracted. But I personally don't think that teeth should be extracted because someday they might cause trouble. Why don't you wait till they cause trouble? Let's see what happens first. Why are we so quick to just, let's get it out? No, because extraction of teeth that is superfluous can cause trouble, even if it's not superfluous, even if it's needed, even if it's required, can still cause trouble. That is not a good place to have surgery in the mouth. There are so many problems with cavitations that appear a year later and for many years after. dry sockets, etc. What if they're causing bite issues? Well, I always say, slow down, my friends. Slow down. Give the teeth a chance to come in and see what comes of it. If it's serious, okay, then we might want to do something about it. But it's important to think about what are the long-term effects of doing something permanent, and what are the long-term effects of doing nothing? How about the short-term effects of doing nothing and waiting it out and see where things line up, if they line up on their own? And how about if teeth are coming in crooked, maybe because the palate is too small, and we eat the kind of foods that Dr. Weston A. Price recommended we eat, and the palate expands? It does that. You know how when boys are growing, they're adolescents and they're teenagers, sometimes they can look like Ichabod Crane. Really big feet, long legs, too skinny, ears that are too big, face that's too narrow. And we're thinking, oh my gosh, look how awkward he looks. Well, if the face is narrow and the shoulders are not broad yet, and he's still skinny and he's looking all cockeyed, give it some time. Give our Ichabod Cranes butter and lard and tallow and beef, grass-fed yogurt with the cream on top, raw milk. Give them high-quality foods, and you will likely see the palate opening up. And now the teeth are not so crooked. The face doesn't look so narrow compared to the ears. It fills out. The ears don't look so large. The feet don't look as large because now the calves are filling in and the thighs and the shoulders widen. Let's not be so much in a hurry that we jump to, let's do something. Slow down, my friends. Slow down. There's no need to do something just because the dentist or the doctor has an opening in his or her schedule. We're not here to fill somebody's schedule. We are here to take care of ourselves and our families. Striking while the iron is hot is a method. When my roof is leaking, the roofer comes and says, oh, you better do this now or else you're not going to have a roof in a month. Slow down, roof man. Let's just see what else we can do here. We don't have to replace the whole roof. Maybe we just replace this one little area. Maybe we clean the gutters. Maybe we do something else. Let's just slow down, doctor guy, dentist guy. It's something that we are led to believe that we're being irresponsible if we don't do as the white lab coat people tell us to do. No. I contend that we need to stop and think. We need to say, thank you very much for your opinion. Perhaps we get a second opinion. Perhaps we do nothing. Sometimes doing nothing is the best thing we can do. Sometimes doing something is valuable too. But don't make a decision, my friends, in someone else's office. Make a decision in your office, at your kitchen table, in your bedroom, discussing it with your husband. And then sleep on it. And then look it up. And then study it. And then think about it again. And then talk to your study group friends. And then. Yep. Slow down, OBGYN man, quick to perform hysterectomies. You bet. Slow down, Mr. Roofman. Slow down. That's what I'm going to encourage you to do too. Now, the time we don't slow down is when someone is in severe pain. Doesn't mean that we need to use, In other words, we are going to move quickly as homeopaths for our families. We are going to move it along as quickly as we can. We're going to look, I have a pain course. You just go to Joette's Learning Center and look under pain, and I've got an entire course on it. But if you don't have that, you can use my blog. And if you don't have that, you can look in my Materia Medica or someone else's Materia Medica. You can use your repertory. There are so many avenues to find the good information. You can ask your study group friends. I want you to know that you have more control, more ability than you think you have. It's just that we as humans feel that when we're in trouble, yikes, somebody help me. So it really is a very good idea to make sure that someone else in your family is learning this as well as you, preferably the next generation. Gastritis. You bet, friends. I talked about gastritis early. What is gastritis? Itis of the gastrointestinal tract, right? Inflammation of. So a very broad term. And so is that what I talked about earlier? Is it that that's what I had was gastritis? Certainly wasn't chronic gastritis because I don't have that. Instead, what I had was probably a bug. So let's see what people are saying. What about colon pains from 14 years of ulcerative colitis? My friends, you need to go, when you have something that's chronic like that, look at my course titled Good Gut, Bad Gut. That's precisely what I teach. Precisely. Just go to Joette's Learning Center and look up the course. You'll own it yourself once you get it. It's an online course. What about, okay, we got that same question again. Gastritis. How does my friend use chamomilla for her teething? Chamomilla 200C twice daily. It is usually used when it's a chronic low level teething. But if it's very severe, I might use it more frequently, every 3-6 hours. As soon as it starts acting and you see their shoulders drop down, they fall asleep or they stop complaining, don't ask if they still have pain. You'll know. You will know. Just watch. There's no more complaining. They're not as irritable. They're not as fractious. Then you know you're done. You stop. If they get worse or you don't see a change for these acute situations such as this, after about 4 or 5 doses, I would stop. It's not the right medicine. Look at all this great information you guys are teaching each other in Mighties. Hi, Kimberly. It's great to see. Meet the severity with the frequency. Thank you very much, Harry. As if it's very severe, you're going to use it more frequently. Okay. I think we've got it. Neck pain. Depends on what you mean by neck pain. So what I'm saying with that, so that you can get an idea, is it the muscles? Is it the spine? Is it worse in the morning? I've written a lot about it on my blog. You might want to look under, I don't call it neck pain. I might call it back pain, and it's basically the same. Alrighty, my friends, we went over, and I'm happy to do it. Love it. It's great to see you all. Thanks for joining me. God bless you all. Stay focused. Stay skilled. And stay well stocked. Own your medicines. God bless you all. See you next week. Bye.